Hey guys, how's it going? Danconia and welcome back to the Overwatch League Roundup. Today, we take a look at our champions, the London Spitfire. So, should I tell you now that I'm wearing a London Spitfire jacket? I'm not biased, I promise. I'm not biased. Anyway, I'm going to be harsh with London because they are the champions and they are the people to look at going into the new season. They are the example of what you must do to win the Overwatch League. Unfortunately, London are not perfect. They are not consistent, London. They never have been. So, what have London done in the off-season? Well, basically, they've lost their coach. Chengun has left London Spitfire, and I believe he's now coaching the Seoul Dynasty. More on the Seoul Dynasty later in the series, because I think Seoul have improved massively. So they've had to get a new coach in. And now they've got Coach 815, who's got a lot of experience in esports, which is really interesting. But remember, they actually changed head coach in the middle of the season last season, when they got rid of Bishop, and then they got in... I think they actually got in Chengun as head coach, didn't they? Damn! Or did they get in J-Phil? I think it might be J-Phil, actually. But, interesting. Very interesting. And will it hinder London? No, I don't think it will. So, returning for this season of the Overwatch League for London, you will have Birdwing, Prophet, Fury, Gesture, Badossin and Nuss. Remember that we talked about the Dallas Fuel and they have signed closer from the London Spitfire, so they have let go one of their supports, but they have actually replaced them. Obviously, we know about the movements they made last season. They got rid of Fisher to the LA Gladiators. Fisher then hopped to the Seoul Dynasty, the only player to have played for 3 Overwatch League teams. Rascal obviously hopped to the Dallas Fuel. He then hopped out of the Overwatch League, but I believe has come back into the Overwatch League. I can't remember which team. It might be San Francisco. Then we had the 4 players that were made inactive. Hureg, Huyol, Hagapan and TZ. All of them were gotten rid of. Hureg went to Runaway. More on Hureg later on, because Runaway is going to be a very big part of this Overwatch League this season, I think. Huyol and TZ now playing for the XL2 Academy, and Hagapan is now playing for Florida Mayhem, as we saw earlier on. So, London have signed 2 players in the off-season, and it's 2 players that they dearly needed, in my opinion. They do not need to muck around with Gesture and Fury. I would like a backup tank, yes, but you can't keep them happy. London know that you can't keep a roster happy. They had 2 of the best rosters in the world. They can't keep them all. So, Fury and Gesture were possibly the best tank duo around last season, and I would expect them to still be that way. Badossin and Nuss, very, very good supports, and Prophet and Birdwing. Oh boy. There is a reason why Prophet is playoff MVP. Birdwing had a dip last season, but I still believe that he is at the very top of his game. Because, damn, those 2 popped off in the playoffs to win that. But anyway, one thing I did worry about is, remember, when Birdwing had his dip, just before that, he had an injury. Now, we didn't see many injuries last season, but Birdwing got an injury at the height of his power for London Spitfire around Stage 2. When they'd won Stage 1, they were doing decently in Stage 2, then they lost Birdwing and had to bring in Hureg. And Hureg, no offense to Hureg, he's done very well for Runaway, but was not as good as Birdwing and Prophet at that time, and it saw London suffer, to be quite honest with you. They ended up getting rid of Hureg, but that meant you have no backup DPS, so what if another one of them got injured? Literally, London ended the season with Birdwing, Prophet, Fury, Gesture, Badossin, Nuss and Closer. The 3 supports, none of them really can play DPS at that level, so they were at risk of injuring, with an injury being left in a lurch. They have sorted that now with the signing of Guard. Guard is another South Korean DPS coming into the Overwatch League this season, well known for his Tracer and Sombra. Last season he was playing for Element Mystique. A high level of South Korean Overwatch contenders play, but not quite as good as some of the players coming in this season. but a very good backup for the players that Spitfire have already got. I would not expect Guard to start for the London Spitfire because, to be quite honest, there ain't many players in the world that can go toe-to-toe with Birdwing and Prophet. But a very good replacement and a backup for them. Also, they've signed Krillin, a South Korean support, as a backup to Nuss and Badosin. With Closer moving to the Dallas Fuel, this was also needed in case you lost a support. Krillin is very young, at 18, likes Zen and Anna, and played for Crusher last season in Korea, but in the Korean Open Division. Yes, Open Division. And what I've got here says to me that he's never ever played in Contenders, only ever in the trials. So this guy is an absolute unknown. I have hardly any details on him. Like, literally 18, playing for London, South Korean, played for the Overwatch Amateur League in 2017, and the rest of the details is Overwatch Open Division and Contenders Trials, where he lost out. So this guy, definitely a backup to Nuss and Badosin. I just don't know. I don't know. I can't answer anything on this guy. He looks like a really weird pickup for the London Spitfire. But if there's anything I know about London, they are not stupid. This player must have something really good to him. And it'll be interesting to see how he does when he makes his Overwatch League debut. Now, that's a very short overview of their squad because nothing really has changed. Because, you know, they've won it. They're not going to change that much, are they? And to be quite honest, you look at Birdwing, Prophet, Fury and Gesture, they're all on top of their game. But Dosin was, in my opinion, the second best Zenyatta in the whole league last year, second only to Jonak. I mean, who's going to beat Jonak? And Nuss is also a very good main support. So, London's still looking very, very good. There are a few things that London need to iron out. And mainly, it's due to consistency. Now, whether you can put it down to Birdwing's injury last season or not, Stage 3 for the Overwatch League for London Spitfire was awful by their standards. And ultimately, it cost them a stage playoff, because the previous two stages they've been in the playoffs. Stage 1, remember, they finished third and won the playoffs. Stage 2, they finished second and lost in the final of the playoff to New York. Stage 3, they finished sixth. So that's like nowhere near what they were doing, and it showed that their depth of squad was not as good as it could have been. And remember, in Stage 4, London finished 9th. 9th in the stage. Now, I'm not quite sure with London whether they were sandbagging, knowing that they'd basically already qualified for the playoffs, the overall playoffs, and then because the London Spitfire that turned up in the overall playoffs were completely different to the London we'd seen for the last two stages of the Overwatch League. If London can maintain their level of play that they played at during Stage 1 and 2, then I think London will finish top of the power rankings. But that is a big, big if. And remember how dominant New York were last season. It doesn't mean you'll win it. New York, remember, were first in the standings, but ended up losing in the semi-finals of the overall playoffs to Philadelphia, who finished 6th. Remember, our final last year was between the 5th seed and the 6th seed of the Overwatch League's rankings. That's just crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So, it shows you never know, but it also shows that London Spitfire turn up at the big occasion very often. but they are not my favourites. Sorry, London. As much as I love you, you're not my favourites. I'm not going to say my favourites, because it's between two teams right now. And I'm not sure who I want to go for, who I want to punt for, and who I want to put my money down on. But that is London. They will be very good. London, I think, always will be very good. They are the Overwatch League champions from Season 1. They do have a very big earning, well over $1 million. They are just as good as they were last season. They are in the same colours and everything. And they will be right up there. If London are not in the playoffs, it will be a massive shock. One of the biggest shocks in Overwatch League history. So, yeah. London will be... I'll put it here right now. London will be in the playoffs. It just depends who's going to win it. I don't think London will win it. But who knows? When we get into the season, we'll see how it pans out. I certainly expect it to be much more open in Season 2 than it was in Season 1. When New York dominated the stages and London dominated the... Not dominated so much, but were powerful in the playoffs. Because remember, they didn't dominate the LA Gladiators. That's something else London need to deal with. London had two bogey teams last season that cost them dearly, Houston Outlaws and the Los Angeles Gladiators. They broke that bogey team in the Los Angeles Gladiators to actually reach the final in the playoffs. So that's something London need to iron out. If you want to be top of the rankings, you cannot have bogey teams. You cannot have bogey teams. It just doesn't work. Anyway, and remember there are more teams this season, and Vancouver are lurking in the background. More on Vancouver later. Anyway, for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then!